today, right here, right now. This is the moment that you will finally say,
I'm growing my accounting practice, and you're going to discover exactly how, right here, right now, on the Grow My Accounting Practice podcast.
wow, the great one. Well, everybody, I'm not Wayne Gretzky. I am Ron Saharian, co-founder of Profit First Professionals.
And I'm Mike McCallowitz, the author of Profit First. I had Wayne Gretzky going through my head. You, my friends, you are listening to GMAP. This is a show where we teach you every step that it takes to growing your accounting or bookkeeping practice. What if you came to this country without even being a citizen and had started a business? You can do it. You can grow an accounting practice like that too. And we're going to learn that today. And by the way, this is a show that more than just interviews an amazing guest, Wendy Barlin, we also teach you the psychology of the sale. Obi-Wan Kenobi himself with his lightsaber. Oh, there it is. Lightsaber teaches you the Obi-Wan Kenobi technique. You also get the GMAP Now task, the one task that if you do it at the end of the show, you'll be growing your practice. All here today in this episode.
And of course, we have a great guest, and you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, growmyaccountingpractice.com, which was recently refreshed, and of course, Google Play.
And before we go hog wild here, I do want to thank American Express. I'm doing a new show with them called Turning Points.
That's right. Exciting.
Yeah. It just got released. So as you're listening to us, go to your Google podcaster and just type in Turning Points. You're going to listen to some amazing stories of entrepreneurs that faced, man, you think it's the end of the business, and they took that opportunity or that challenge and made it into a massive opportunity and grew their businesses.
Now, I'm excited about it. I know you've been traveling it to New York to record these for quite some time.
Oh, my God. And they're promoting to 12 million subscribers. So,
nice.
Come on.
Nice.
Word's going to get out. All right, talking about 12 million, Ron. I want to say about 12 million thank yous to our corporate partners who make the show a reality.
Absolutely.
Who are they?
Thank you, Funbox. Thank you, Fundera.
Oh, I got to give you some noise.
Oh, my.
Thank you, Nextiva.
Is that all you know?
Thank you, Jane. That was my daughter. Where'd she come from?
My mama is smarter than your mama.
Thank you, Receipt Bank. Thank you,
Mama wears combat boots.
Sorry.
Thank you, Zero. And of course, thank you to our newest sponsor, Net Payroll.
Yes.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Net Payroll is a payroll company that we use, and just an extraordinary service company. So netpayroll.net is where you check them out. And thanks to Jane for coming into the studio and recording those tracks. She was a hoot doing that. Also, I want to remind all of our guests, we started a new thing. If you want to get access to GMAP Plus One, it's our live webinars that we're doing. It's a free series that complements GMAP. It's available for you, but you have to send a text. Send GMAP, G-M-A-P, to 678-506-7543. One more time, send the word or acronym GMAP, G-M-A-P, to 678-506-7543, and you'll get access to one of our esteemed, powerful, complimentary webinars.
Nicey nice.
You know, her name's I built into that incorrectly. Just Ron, punch me real quick. There you go. You know, her name's Wendy Barlin. She is more than just an accountant. She's a personal business manager and a financial confidant. She's working with the allergist community.
Right.
I'll tell you, it's funny. Wendy herself suffers, I guess that's the right word, suffers from allergies. She's a child, same thing. And it's funny that when we go through pains in our lives or in our business, that we find purpose in it. And she found purpose in helping allergists do the good work they do by making them more profitable. But getting to the stage she was today was not easy.
Not easy.
She faced some serious challenges, including coming to the U.S. to start an accounting practice and grow one as a non-U.S. citizen. So how do you get started when the world is kind of working against you? Well, that's what we're about to find out. Wendy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Oops.
That wasn't Wendy.
Was that you, Wendy?
Thank you.
Oh.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, it does sound like you. That's probably how you felt the first day moving to the States. So did you come to the United States? You came from South Africa, right?
Correct. I was backpacking around the world. I just fell in love with Los Angeles and I never left.
So you come to the United States. Did you come here with the intent to start a business day one?
Absolutely not. I was just traveling around the world looking for my next adventure.
Okay. So the next adventure ultimately became starting a business, right?
Right, because I worked for many accounting firms across the city, and I always felt that I had so much more to add.
Well, tell me what that was. What was missing?
So for me, I spent so many years in accounting firms being told, get off the phone, do billable hours, we need to bill the clients. And I always felt like money was in the phone, and I was building relationships with the clients, and that was never respected at the highest levels. And it just beat me down to a point where I thought, I can do this better. And the day that I left, I have clients who've been with me since the very first firms I was with, because I built those relationships and they stayed. It was above and beyond the billable hour.
So that's the thing I want to explore is building relationships. But first, let's get through this story here. So you decide I'm going to start my own business. How many years were you in the United States at that point when you decided to go in at it your
5 years.
own? 5 years.
I was here 5 years at different firms before I went out on my own.
And were you a U.S. citizen at the time?
Not yet. I was a green card holder.
Okay. So this is, I know that people listening might not be facing this challenge specifically, but the rules for you were a little different. They're not as easy to start a business. I presume you just don't put a shingle up or buy a building and say, hey, I'm in business. How do you get started?
I think the biggest challenge is not having a network. A lot of people that I've met along the way have their college network, their alumni, their high school, their family. I had no one. I had no one to refer me business. I had no one to call and say, hey, I'm going into business. Can you refer me your friends? I had no one. So I was literally hanging a shingle and getting on the phone to say, here I am. This is what I'm doing. How can I help you? I think that for me, being an immigrant, was the hardest, to not have the network that you all appear to have.
Okay, so now let's talk about that challenge. So that's the real root cause. You have no network, and that means you open the door and day one, you can't call your family and say, hey, do you know somebody can do business with me? Right. I mean, you could, but you have to go all the way back to South Africa. So, so what do you do on your first day?
I think I started at the chambers like everybody else did. I started at the chambers, but, it was one relationship at a time, figuring out who my best referral sources would be. And I think looking back, the most important piece for me was to build relationships with people I liked. Because if I could meet someone, no matter what they did or what area they worked in, if they were someone where we liked each other, ultimately they were going to refer me business and I was going to refer it back to them. And that really has stood me in good stead in the last 20 years, is to not worry about, oh, this is the person I need to know, but rather, who do I want to get to know?
Oh, that's fascinating. So these are people you want to know, but you weren't necessarily looking for business opportunities from them?
I was absolutely looking for business opportunities, but I found that if you drive with looking for business opportunities, you come up empty. Every time I said to myself, oh, this is a lawyer who can refer me business, I need to take him to lunch, nothing would come of it. And what I found was that if I truly just built relationships with people I like, that they would then in turn refer me the work and the business would come.
Okay, so I'm getting a picture of this now, but I'm also thinking this sounds like this will take a lifetime.
Yeah, how are you going to pay your bills?
Yeah.
Right.
So how does that work?
Right. So that was challenging. And thanks to the American dream, where you're able to buy things on credit at 0% interest and pay it off diligently over a year or 2 years or 3, I was able to make that work. And again, building these great relationships with people that really could see the value I was bringing, they referred their friends and they referred their friends. And before I turned around, I had a lot of tax returns to do. And that was kind of step 2, was to step back and go, okay, now I'm doing all these tax returns. Is this really what I wanted to do? And therein comes the growth of what's the accounting practice I really want to build.
Okay. So let's go through the strategy so our listeners can catch on. What I'm hearing from you is step 1 is find people you like and simply build a human relationship with them. Is that basically it?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Once you build that relationship, is there a way you ask? Does it naturally come out? How did you start turning that into business?
Yeah, I think from that natural relationship of getting to know people, being involved with them, showing them that I was interested in them as human beings and offering value. Reach out to me. I'm happy to be a resource for you. You need to understand something about taxes. You need to understand something about QuickBooks. I'm here to help you. And that had people reach out to me, so I became part of their world. And then I absolutely let them know, I'm looking to grow my business. This is what I'm looking for. And I think that's what helped people refer me business. And I will say there were one or two, maybe three, who were key in that. Looking back, who really the majority of my clients and referrals came from probably three people.
And now I'm also seeing that you actually took a step prior to this and that you inserted yourself in the right community, meaning like you didn't go to, I don't know, the ballerina practice sessions and hang out there. I mean, I'm sure they're wonderful people, but you weren't networking with ballerinas or maybe you weren't at the corporate executive meeting, or maybe you were. I mean, it sounds like you said you went to the chamber. It sounds like you inserted yourself where entrepreneurs were and then became friends with entrepreneurs that you liked.
Correct. So I was looking for people who were like me in that they were running their own businesses. They were the decision makers. They were professionals. They were not out there selling. They were professionals looking to build their relationships and their businesses. And that really was the challenge. Also because at the outset, I couldn't offer them a whole lot. As I say, I didn't have the connections. I didn't have the network to offer. So what I was saying is, let's work together. I'll be a resource for you on the financial and business side, and let's see what we can do together. I was looking for people in a similar position to I was, who are professionals running their own service firms, the decision makers who were sitting in the same chair I was.
And you said all these people you're networking with, I don't know if it's a dozen, 50, whatever, but 2 or 3 key ones were the ones who became your referral source. Is that because you were doing something different with them? Why were those people the keys?
I think that they were people who resonated with me. They understood my mission. My mission is to help entrepreneurs be successful without the pedigree and this is the college I went to and my parents gave me money and all that, because I came here with nothing but a bag of dirty clothes. So I was looking for other people who shared that passion for the American dream, that you can do it through hard work and focus. You can do this. And people where my story resonated with them and the way I was running my practice with no billable hours, they then wanted to send me business because they knew that I would treat their clients and their friends and their family the same way. And I think that's where those couple of relationships, so people really went, wow, yes, I get it. I see the value of what you're offering. This is what I too want to offer. Those are the people that then opened the floodgates of referrals.
And did you?
And again, it was not because they were lawyers or doctors or whatever they were. It was because of the personal connection of understanding that, yes, we can do it because we want to and we say we will.
Right. And out of curiosity, were those also immigrants who started businesses themselves?
Interestingly, they were not. Interesting, they were not. They were professionals. They were business owners, but they were not immigrants. And for whatever their own reasons were, I don't know what they were, that my story resonated with them. Maybe they had children. I know one had children going off to college and was in this position of, do I pay for my child's Ivy League college, in that will that determine their future success? And here I am saying, I don't believe that. I believe that I'm going to make something of this without those connections and that pedigree. My college in South Africa is one nobody has ever heard of. And yet here I am today. I bought and sold businesses and properties and restaurants, and none of that has been because of where I went to college or who my parents were.
So, okay. So, Ron asked if there was a commonality between immigrants, and no, but you said, well, there was a commonality though in this discovery,
the hustle.
Yeah, the hustle. That's the word, the hustle.
Yeah.
So how do you seek that out? So what I'm hearing now is, if you're going to build relationships, seek out common stories or common bonds. How do you find what they are?
And interestingly enough, I think people share that about themselves probably in the first 5 minutes that you meet them. If you're really listening, you'll find that people share whether they're an optimist or a whiner or want to blame somebody else for their lot in life, I can usually tell within just a few minutes of a conversation with a prospect or another referral source as to whether there's someone that resonate with me. As soon as people start blaming others for where they are in life or circumstance rather than taking ownership with a positive attitude of this is where I am, there are good days and there are bad days, but they're my days. I can usually tell that in the first few minutes of chatting with someone, and that's how I determine in my gut whether this is someone I'm going to resonate with.
So it's fascinating to me that you started off with this, but are you're still continuing with this type of evaluation, correct? On prospects?
Absolutely. I have people come into my office who are referred to me, and after meeting with them for a few minutes, I'm already planning my exit where I'm going to explain to them that we're just not a good match. Because I really believe you trust your gut. And in order for me to truly help somebody through the next 20, 40 years of their lives, financial lives, which is my goal, I need to understand who they are, what's important to them. And not that we necessarily need to be 100% on the same page, but it's very hard for me to give it my all when I have someone in front of me who is really set in the mindset of, well, but I didn't go to an Ivy League school and my parents won't give me the money and it's just not fair.
Right.
Just not where I want to work.
No, absolutely. And going back to when you first started, if you could share, what would you say was the biggest mistake that you made?
Oh, that's a great question. The biggest mistake in the beginning, I think, I took everybody that came in the door because I needed to keep a roof over my head. I took everybody. You want a discount? Sure. You want to do something a little different on your tax return? Sure, I'll think about that. I took everybody in the beginning to pay the bills. And then over time, I figured out that not all dollars are created equal.
Right. Now, I'm assuming that now you have some certain standards in terms of client size. I know we talked about the industry. I mean, how do you make that transition? I mean, it's often with fear. I mean, hey,
Absolutely.
So if you could just walk us through that, that'd be great.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's scary, and I have taken on debt in the past because I, in my gut, know that I'm going to do this and I'm going to succeed. And so I have taken on debt to fund some of those choices. Again, thanks to the American Dream and the credit card system, I've paid off over $50,000 in credit card debt at 0%. So I would open a card, put the debt on it, pay it off, and roll it. And over $50,000 I've paid off. But that money allowed me the choices to grow my business to be something that I'm proud of today and something that I enjoy to get up and work on every day.
Right. And you weren't just taking on that debt so you could, have fancy computers and,
Right.
So you wanted fancy clothing.
Fancy clothing, right. Like a Mercedes.
Right.
What is
some of it was definitely to play in, to buy my way into some networking groups.
Okay.
A lot of it was for business development.
Okay.
But you've got somewhere you have to be all in. And that's how I was all in.
So let me ask you this. There's an interesting story from Nextiva. Thomas Gorney, he's the founder of Nextiva. He's an immigrant.
Yep.
I think, I want to say Poland.
Croatia, I thought.
It may be. From Eastern Europe.
Right.
And he said once, Wendy, and I want to get your feedback on this. He said, weaknesses are in fact our biggest strength. And he had an accent. He still has an accent. He had a heavier accent back then. It's kind of played out. But he goes, people would judge him based upon his accent. And because he spoke slowly, they would judge him as incapable or not the smartest guy. And he said a line that I'll never forget. He said, just because I speak slowly doesn't mean I think slowly. And he's like,
Right.
it's my accent. He said he actually leveraged that and he'd play the dumb guy. And then he would sideswipe you, and his business, he is literally a billionaire. Thomas Gorney is a billionaire. So he's built multiple companies, web.com. Now he owns Nextiva. They passed $150 million in revenue. It's exploding again. Where is the opportunity? Where did you find the opportunity, Wendy, to leverage a weakness and actually make it your strength?
I think exactly that's because people do make a judgment. They absolutely make a judgment based on the accent, based on how you speak. It translates to the perception of you might not know what you're doing, or are you experienced? Do you have a license? Are you even allowed to be here?
Right, right.
I think it makes us work harder. It makes me work harder. It makes me definitely more focused and driven to prove that I can do this. I definitely see that as saying, I'm not going to let this be something that judges against me. I'm going to turn that around and make this be something that works for me, and that I'm telling my clients, listen, I came here with nothing, and I'm not a billionaire yet, but I'm doing okay. And if I could do that with nothing, imagine how I can help you be better given what you already have.
Nice. Now, you did come with something. You came with a really cool accent. Now, Mike and I...
And I did come with a certification. I did get my chartered accountancy license in South Africa. So I was already trained. I was English speaking, which definitely helps and makes it easier. But I didn't have the network, and I didn't have the financial backing.
So use what you got and make it happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So now you get the practice going. You've used your weaknesses to your advantage, but you also find that you're accepting every client, which was a mistake. But I guess in the early stages, accepting every client is not a mistake because you need the money. I mean, in the very beginning, you need the money.
And I tell my clients too, you kind of have to figure out who your people are. And so the downside is you take everybody, you work so hard, you make no money, and then you lift your head after a year or two and you go, okay, this can't be right. Now what? I think everybody has to go through that. I have yet to see a business owner that opens their doors and is successful from day one. It's a path. Yeah.
Okay. So now you're getting some momentum. It's a path. What's it like to start firing clients? I mean, these are clients that help you get started. I'm sure there's some emotional attachment to them. How do you fire?
It's very hard.
Yeah.
It is very hard. And people take it personally, as any of us would if our doctor or our dentist called us and said, hey, you're no longer a good fit for my practice.
Oh my God.
People are offended. And it is sad. But we kind of have to keep our eye on the ball. We have to keep moving forward. And I think the other thing I've learned is to ask for help. When you run your own business, it's critical for me to be able to put my ego aside and call another accountant or another lawyer that I've built relationships with and say, hey, I need your help. That has been really a big growth experience for me, because coming here by yourself, I've learned to rely only on myself. I had no one. I had no backup plan. So I learned to rely on myself. And that sometimes can be a detriment, because there are days where I need to reach out for help. And that's been a huge challenge, is to admit when I need help and to reach out.
Gotcha. So looking back at those early phases of your business, what have you learned from it? And are there some shortcuts that you could have continued this path faster? Could you have gotten track? I mean, you've done well, extremely well. But I'm wondering if there's things that you look back now and say, oh, if I did this or didn't do that, I would have been in a better position faster.
Right. I think to just keep going through the hard days, because they are hard days, and to just keep going with the ultimate belief that you can do this. And also, I am a big believer in a niche practice. I believe that keeping my practice in its niche and not taking every client has allowed me to work on the clients I want to work on and charge fees that make me the expert in my field. I get calls every day from people who say, oh, come on, can't you just do my restaurant? It's really not difficult. It'll be easy. And I have to stay true to my niche and say, no, that's not my field. I'm happy to refer you on. And that, to stay true to that, it's not always easy when a big dollar referral comes in. It's not my niche. And I have to stay true to saying, I would love to help you, but it's just not my field.
So, it's funny. A lot of our guests, I would say half the guests when we talk about marketing or growth or whatever, if that's the topic of the day, all of them, half our guests talk about that topic, but I'd say all of them say niche, niche, niche. You got to be a niche specialist. What's the reason that you got to commit to a niche? What's been the benefit or the gain?
That's a good question, because I get that question a lot from people. Well, why can't you just do my restaurant?
Right.
The reality is, for me to truly be an expert in my field takes a lot of education hours that I maintain. I read journals, I read blogs, I read everything I can get my hands on to stay on top of what's happening in my industry. I do not have the bandwidth, the time to stay on top of every industry. And so I believe that I am an expert in my field. And if I were to take a restaurant or a shoe manufacturer, I would now have to go and research their field, spend the time and energy to research their field. And I just don't believe that I would be offering the very best service to them, advising them in their business in a field that I am not intimately involved in. For me, that's what keeps me focused in my niche, is I just do not have the bandwidth to be educated about every business.
I hear in the education part for sure. I hear, and maybe you're speaking to this, there's an efficiency part too, meaning once you start serving the same type of customer, I presume you're running into similar types of problems, and therefore the solutions would be similar. Do you have experience around that?
Correct. And our internal processes in the office are the same, which therefore allows me to price things and know that I'm going to make my margin on them because I know how long something takes and I know how this industry works and what's going to be expected of us. And that definitely, yes, is a big help also in streamlining our internal processes.
And what about the marketing efficiencies? I mean, you said you were going to the Chamber of Commerce. I picture a Chamber of Commerce. There's hundreds of different types of people there. There's small business owners, just big companies, and they have a sales rep. It's all over the place. Do you still go to the Chamber of Commerce to find your niche?
No, I started off there, but our chambers here in the big cities, I know it's different in the small towns, but here in our big cities, the Chambers of Commerce are just absolutely people throwing business cards around. Right. I have since found groups that are better served towards professionals and in my niche. I think that when I network, though, again, I have stayed true to my philosophy of getting to know people I like, and then the business will come. So I don't only network in my niche. I network with other professionals, period. All kinds of lawyers and insurance people and brokers, anyone, consultants, anyone who is client-facing with the business owner is a good connection for me. And from there, I build those relationships and then the referrals come. So yes, I would say at least 2 or 3 times a week, I get referral calls that are not appropriate for me. And that's okay, because I take the call, I say, you know what, we don't work in this field. Thank you for the referral. Thank you for thinking of me. And I then refer them on to another firm that can help them. I'm creating goodwill, and all these people who are sending the referrals, they're thinking of me. And that's all I ask. Eventually, they will send someone in my sweet spot.
So when you're working with these other people based upon friends, people you like, are you being strategic saying, can they access my niche? Are they an influencer or a gateway? Or do you say, if I like someone, I'm going to hang out with them and just see what comes out of it?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. So, if I like them, but they're kind of in a dead-end job where they go to work and sit in an office every day and shuffle paper and never talk to another human being, I'm probably not going to, do too many lunches with them. But if they are professionals running their own business in the same community that I am and in my desired target market, even though they might not work directly with other doctors, I am still going to build those relationships because the referrals will come. If I strictly stuck to my niche and only worked with people in that niche, I find myself having breakfasts and lunches and thank you cards and phone calls with people I don't really like. And I feel like they can tell that, and then I'm not being authentic. And the referrals don't come when I stay strategic rather than stay focused on relationship building with good people.
Have you subsequently become a U.S. citizen?
I have. The biggest reason is because traveling thus far on a U.S. passport is so much easier than traveling on a South African passport.
But let me ask you this. I'm curious about the business sides. You started a business on a green card, major disadvantage. Now you're a U.S. citizen. Has that given you a major advantage? Meaning now you're a U.S. citizen?
Not at all. In fact, I don't even think most of my clients have ever asked me that. I don't think many of them know. interestingly enough, clients are pretty selfish.
Yeah, so
This is just my business, but clients are pretty selfish, and they're really only worried about themselves.
So I'm
so
not-
they
Yeah, keep
are
going.
very focused on what I can do for them, and if I'm making their life better and I am delivering on my promise, then they're not particularly worried about my pedigree, and that comes back to where we started the discussion. At the end of the day, clients are not worried that I don't have an Ivy League education or parents with a house in the Hamptons. They really need their needs met, and if I'm doing that and I'm growing their business, we're all good.
Yeah, I'm not surprised you answered that way, that being a U.S. citizen versus being not is not advantage or not. But the irony is, I think folks listening to this show, some folks are saying, I got this disadvantage, that this is a real disadvantage. I can't overcome this.
Right.
And therefore they're delaying their growth or they're
Limiting beliefs. Yep.
And so this is a major quote unquote roadblock. If you're not a citizen of a country, you can't start a business there. You can't be successful.
Right.
That's the belief. And you're just saying
Right.
that's total bull, Wendy, right?
Total.
Yeah,
Total.
it's smashing limiting beliefs of oneself. It's literally having the confidence in moving yourself forward as a person and also as a business owner.
And I think we all have limiting beliefs, just in different fields,
Sure.
right? So my limiting beliefs are not in business. I have no doubt. I'm full steam. There are other areas in my life that I do have limiting beliefs in. And that's really interesting, because I do hear that from clients that do have these limiting beliefs. Very few of them. We have to work on it. It's a lifelong challenge.
Well, I think it's awareness, right? I mean, aware that we have these thoughts that stop us. And I would argue, if we went to 100 people on the street and said, if you're not a citizen of a country, can you start a business there? Can you be successful? I bet you 99.9 would, that means 1/9 of one person, or 9/10 of one
Right.
person. 99
And
people
that's what
say
people
no.
say to me. They say, but you didn't know anyone when you came here. You didn't know anyone. What did you do? And I said, yes, I didn't know anyone.
Yeah,
I did
but you
not
did
know
it.
anyone. I landed at LAX, and I went to the rental car counter, and I said, I need a car, and I need to drive to Santa Monica. I'm staying in a youth hostel. And the woman said to me, okay, here's your keys. Probably best to get on the 405 freeway. I said, well, that's very kind of you. Thank you. But how do I get to the 405 freeway
Right.
from here? And I mean, literally, when I leave the parking lot, where do I go?
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she said, well, what are you doing? I said, I've never driven here. This is going to be my first day on the road. I need to know where to go. That was the day before GPS systems. So, and that's how I tell people, is that just do it. Just do it.
That girl probably lost her job at the car
Oh
rental
yeah,
place,
I mean, Wendy probably was like, look, steering wheels
Do you
on
have
the
a,
wrong
let me
side.
see your U.S. driver's license. Hold on, you don't have one? You've never driven here? Wow, oh my God. Hey, Wendy, we got to split. This has been amazing.
Awesome.
Before we go, though, I know people want to check out what you got going on and see the progress you've made in your business. Where can they learn more about you?
Great. So my website is wbarlincpa.com. You can Google Wendy Barlin. You'll find all the places I go and teach cash flow and profit first to other professionals.
Awesome. Wendy, thanks for joining us
Awesome,
today.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ron, we got a lot to cover, and we are running tight on time. So here's the dealio, my friend. I want to summarize what we learned. I want to hear the best OB Ron you can give to me. Plus, we got the GMAP Now task. But first, I want to thank our corporate partners to make this show a reality. I'll roll through them, Ron. First, I want to thank Nextiva, voice over IP phone system, the best of the best. Receipt Bank. It's the ultimate efficiency tool. You know what? Those receipts that are piling up in that shoebox, no more. You can have them scanned right in, tied into QBO or Xero. Perfect for your clients. Talk about Xero. Cloud accounting software, built from the cloud up. It's the best accounting software out there, arguably. I hope you support Xero, listener. If not, check it out, because Xero is the accounting hero. Fundbox. Fundbox is a cash flow accelerator. You know those invoices your client is bitching and moaning about collecting? Turn them on to Fundbox. Then they'll get their money right now. That means they can pay all their vendors, which includes you, by the way. So have them check out Fundbox. And Fundera, that's a one-stop shop for loans. Every business needs money to grow. I believe in building profitability and growing off that, but there's certain opportunities that present themselves that a loan, man, that would burst you forward. I don't know about the credit cards Wendy was using. I wish she knew about Fundera. I think that might have been a little better solution. They'll shop out the loan. They'll make recommendations. They'll give you direction. They'll support you through the process. And last but certainly not least,
Net Payroll.
Net.
Now, and just to continue on Net Payroll, one of the things I really like about them is that they stay current with the tax tables, and their security is unbelievable. So, they use bank level security to safeguard the information as well as web-based software. So there's no risk of losing info.
Could you imagine they're not current with the tax tables?
Yeah,
Then
crazy.
stick a fork in you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying other companies aren't current, but they are on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever location you're in, netpayroll.net. All right, Ron, I want to know what you learned today.
Oh, I learned that if you're starting any type of practice or business, relationships, genuinely looking for relationships, but not just the relationships that are going to provide you with business, but with people you like.
Yeah.
Why waste all this energy looking for business, and turns out that you may not even like the person, but you end up working with them.
Yeah. I mean, I got to say the exact same thing is work with people you like or network with people you like, because the joy will transmute. She also talked about just sharing about herself, that it naturally comes out what she does. You don't need to force it.
I loved it. And what I also learned is that, it's the belief in yourself that is going to help you live the American dream, whether you're an immigrant or you're born here. Putting yourself forward, moving it forward, and crushing any negative thoughts or limiting beliefs is the way to go. Way to succeed.
Hey, little Jane, what do you think about my tips?
That's good, Michael.
Oh, thank you. You were such a sweetheart. All right, Ron, I want you to pull out that lightsaber of yours.
Ooh.
Now, real quick, if people are new to this show, here's what this is. Obi-Ron's got the psychology of the sale. It is how you influence and persuade others to get them to where they need to be, even if they're resistant to it. The ultimate persuasion, not manipulation.
Yep.
That's Obi-Ron.
Thank you, Mike. And that's lead in right to what we're going to be talking about today, which is called pre-thanking. I know
you just thanked me. You did it.
Yeah,
you already did it.
I did it to you earlier. You did it to me the other day.
I did.
Basically, this is if you want to persuade somebody to do something, first ask them to do it. Then, before they have time to respond, thank them for doing it.
Nice.
Yeah, so the example yesterday, it happened to me. Mike
I got Rich doing this.
Yeah, Mike rolls in. He's been out of town. He's been doing all this talking. And he's like, Ron, could you lend me 50? Thanks. I know it's awkward, but you're a great friend, and I'll pay you back tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm like...
Dude, it's hard to get you to depart with money.
Very hard.
You peeled out those bucks like it was going out of style.
So the reason
I did pay you back.
you did, he always pays back.
Yeah.
Thanks is an act of closure, sending a signal for the completion of the agreement.
Yes.
So here's what you can do with your accounting firm. Do you struggle persuading your customers to get information? Oh, yeah, 50% of you do. I know you do. Try this out. Before you end a conversation in person or an email, try this. Oh, before we hang up, can you email me your XYZ? Thanks. That would be kind of you.
I love it, Ron.
Right?
Wow. Probably my favorite tip ever.
I got another one.
Oh.
Can you please do XYZ tomorrow? Thanks. That'd be awesome of you. Unbelievable.
Okay. Right? That was nice. Mike Aguilera did it today. I was speaking at his conference. He classic Mike, he uses these techniques. He goes, last night, Cindy Nelk was there. He goes, I just want to thank you in advance. I'm not going to get a chance tomorrow morning. I want to thank everyone for being prompt and on time in advance, right?
Yeah.
Everyone, 10 minutes early. Actually, I posted on Facebook. Did you see those animals down there?
Yeah, it was great.
Oh my God.
We watched it live, a lot of it.
They were getting jacked. You know what they're getting jacked to?
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Stuff like this sound. Listen to that build, man. Oh, here comes. Oh, we're on rhythm for once.
Do it to us at Scaling New Heights when you see us.
Yeah. I can't remember what conference I was at, but someone started doing that when it came up to me. Well, you know what that sound is? That's the eye of the tiger. And you know what the eye of the tiger is? It's the one task that if you do this is the essence, the eye of success. It's called the GMAP Now test. If you do just one task, you will see an immediate result, immediate growth in your business. This is number 99. 99. Wow. Here's the GMAP Now test. It's so simple. Have a mission and talk about, but not like our mission is to eradicate entrepreneurial poverty. We don't say it over and over again. You tell it in story, right? Saying, hey, let me tell you about this one company that was struggling. They were impoverished. Even though their business was growing, they were impoverished. But once they implemented Profit First, they got the freedom of cash coming into their business. They felt empowered and can do what they needed to do. You have to know and have clarity about your mission. And just as Wendy told us, when you are networking with people that you like, tell them your mission in story. But you have to know what your mission is. And when you do that, It's only a matter of time before they want to move your mission forward too.
Nice.
Boom.
Nicey nice.
Boom. Hey, as I'm sitting here,
Yeah.
I got to tell you, Cindy Nelk,
Yep.
Profit First Professional, she says,
Yep.
I'm on my way to the airport. I want to tell you, it's got 20 leads. And it looks like 2 or 3 more. Not bad for an hour's work. 23 leads. That's what it's like being a Profit First Professional.
Guys, listen, if you want to know more, call me. Call me. I'll help you. But again, everybody, thank you very much for listening to this episode. Thank you, Wendy, for sharing your story with us. And we'd love to hear what you guys think. You can review us on Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn Radio. We'd love a 5-star rating.
Yeah, and we have a dialogue up there too. So just give us your comments. We'll post it. And hey, maybe it's time for you. Maybe it's time to really drop that bomb. Make your business explode in growth by joining us. Profit First Professional, Cindy Nelk, who just texted me on my iWatch.
Show off.
22 leads. God bless her. Wendy Barlin, Lori Peterson, Billy Ann Gregg. Who else have we had on the show? John Briggs.
John Briggs.
First
Eric
Professionals.
Levenhagen.
Eric Levenhagen. Growing their business. How are they doing it?
Sabrina Starling.
They're taking their clients to the next level. Listen,
Mike Bruno, Jersey.
it's time to stop being a historian. Stop looking at the numbers and saying, oh, this is what you did
Karen
last
Della
year.
Ripa.
Sorry you weren't profitable. Now it's time to drive profit in their business. Be a futurist. Drive profitability. Here's how you do it. Be a Profit First Professional. You can imagine, go to your clients and saying, here is how you drive profit in your business. Here's how you become more profitable, and I'm going to guide you
Here's
through
a
the process.
plan. Here's a forward-looking plan through the front window of a car, a path. We can help you put your company on a path and your customers on a path to profitability.
That guy's exactly right. There's a reason they call Moby Ron, because he's right. Here's what you got to do. Go to ProfitFirstProfessionals.com right now. Click on the Become button, fill out the form, connect with Ron, myself, our team here. We will guide you to driving profitably in your clients' businesses. And we'll make sure Profit First is a fit for not just you, but for clients too. All right, we got to rock and roll, guys. We'll catch you later.
See ya.